case I just tried recently where we got $77 million, there was a gentleman who got put on the jury that said, I don't think that he wasn't for big verdicts. He said that he thought it was a little ridiculous. I was honest and open with this individual. I trusted him, and by the end of the case, he was one of our biggest advocates. And he pushed for a huge verdict and increased the verdict.
They huddle up, all the 15, 16 people over there on their side, and he comes back to me and he says, Sagi, I have an offer for you. Okay, what's the offer? I got you $4.1 million. I'm like,
they went up $100,000.
They went up $100,000. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we said, fine. I'm like, okay. The next day we come, we do closing arguments. They still wouldn't budge. Jury came back with $12,240,000.
Wow. And double what
you
guys were asking for.
Yeah. And then we got paid, which was great. And it was great because it was against my old firm.
So, I had some, and I settled some for a decent value, but what I thought was decent at the time. And I had a trial coming up. And it was an elderly person, I think they were 84, stroke, victim in the past. They rolled out of bed and they broke their hip. And they died from it, a month or so later. And so that was kind of a run-of-the-mill nursing home case. At the time, I was a little bit frustrated with my law firm, and they told me if you get $250,000, you have to settle it. And I was just kind of like, at that point, I don't know if I knew I was leaving, but I kind of knew. And I was gambling with their money. So I remember texting them, I was like, hey, they offered $250 to take it. Like, no. And then I was like, hey, they offered $500. They're like, you better take it. Like, no. And this is during trial. And then I was like, they offered $1 million. The jury came back with $4.4 million. And I was like, wait, we've been settling these cases, $500,000 is considered a big case. It's not the way that society looks at these people. When you hear us talk about cases like a leg off case, right, or this kind of case, right, we look at it in a different way. We sometimes lose focus of who people are.